Canada's broken, and Canada's broken because we're stupid. Okay, Canada's broken because we're stupid.
Oh yeah.
Gang, what's up? Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. So we've got a very interesting piece here. It's Mark Carney beaking off about Pierre Poilievre, who he's going to have to face in less than 2 weeks in the House of Commons in question period. And it's not going to go very well for Mark Carney, I don't suspect. Pierre Poilievre has the memory of an elephant. Let's check out this. Mark Carney just can't stop talking. He's unbelievable, says nothing but can't stop talking. After that, we're going to take a peek at what it's going to be like for Mark Carney to face Pierre Poilievre in the House of Commons. Then we've got one or two other little funny bits we'll throw in here. Anyhow, let's get into this piece. This is Mark Carney beaking off. This guy can't stop talking but says nothing at all. Let's take a look at this fool.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
I think if you're a full-time experienced politician, you've left that hanging mark. I'd have gone straight for Poilievre's.
You're right. You're right.
You were setting it up, but then you pulled your punch.
I don't want him to. Yeah, you're right. Fair enough.
So come on, land a few punches. I want to know about Poilievre. First of all, how do you pronounce it? Because every time I call him Poilievre, because as you say, Canada's a bilingual, I get told it's Poilievre.
Yeah, it doesn't. He doesn't use the h. So Poilievre.
Poilievre. Okay.
Poilievre.
And tell us about him.
Look, he is. You know the type. He is a lifelong politician. The only job he's ever had he got is being a politician. He was a political staffer. He got elected to the House of Commons very early on, his low 20s. Said he was only going to serve 2 terms. He's ended up serving. I think he's probably into his 5th. He's got the biggest pension, publicly paid pension of anyone. And he's that lifelong politician that, you can only believe so much in the free market if you're a tenured professor at Chicago or you're a lifelong politician, right? And he just sort of worships in that world. He defaults to the same solutions all the time. And he's also, I honestly believe he disdains much about the country, much of what I just described, which to me, and I think to Canadians, is the nature of the country. He disdains. So he's been on this mantra for the last several years: Canada's broken, and Canada's broken because we're stupid. Okay, Canada's broken because we're stupid. And he finds an echo chamber with Jordan Peterson and other people who he sits down and talks with. So there's a disdain for the country that he envisions. It's pretty awkward for him now that the country's coming together and it's Canadian pride, and we're under attack by the very people that he's been cozying up to. So literally, as we speak, he's trying to find a Canadian flag to wrap himself in and play patriot. Last refuge of a scoundrel. The last time I checked, if I know my American history, Anthony.
Well, but you know what? Right now it's working. That's the thing that has people like me and Alistair and you concerned. So it's interesting. It's
not working though, because now it's being called out. We're in a position where, if I may, where the consequences of these attitudes are becoming apparent. And, so we have what is an economic attack, economic force, to use the word of the president against Canada, series of insults that we're the 51st state and our prime minister is a governor, etc. And Canadians are looking for 2 things. Well, who's been defending the country and who's been running it down? He's been running it down. I've been defending it. And who can build, who can negotiate with President Trump, but also, very importantly, and I think this is more important, it goes back to being masters in our own home. Like, who is going to drive this economy forward? And that, as you know, Mooch, it puts you in a better negotiating position if you're strong at home, right? You got to be strong where you are in order to negotiate abroad.
So let me just ask this question from an American perspective. The right, they disagree with each other, Mark, but they all lock together. They get very well organized in the United States. There are many senators, I'm still a donor to some of them, that they dislike Donald Trump, but they'll say very positive things about him in the press. the left in our country, Barack Obama once made a comment. He said, I'm a member of six disorganized parties. I'm a Democrat. Everyone laughed. But is that true in Canada? And if it is, how do you, as the leader, you win the party's leadership, how do you galvanize everybody and have the organization and skill set to keep everybody in the boat the way the right does?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the first is that the Liberal Party in Canada has traditionally balanced the two, and so to use the color scheme here, red is Liberal, blue is Conservative, and so you'll have a component of the Liberal Party which is a blue Liberals who are fiscally conservative, care about the economy, but also care about social justice. Then there's a big wing of the party, if I can talk about it in those terms, that takes the economy more or less for granted and thinks about those social justice issues and where should we move forward on those. Oh, yeah.
From Ottawa is CTV's Colton Prail. Colton, hello to you. So for the first time, Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre will be squaring off in Parliament against the backdrop of an ongoing, unresolved tariff dispute with the U.S. What can we expect?
It'll be a challenge for the Prime Minister. This is the first time that he's going to be facing Pierre Poilievre in the House of Commons, who, as we have seen over the last 2 years, is very adept in the House of Commons. He was able to dictate so much of the national conversation when Justin Trudeau was the Prime Minister, to set the political agenda on things like the economy, to push the issues like the carbon tax, for example, that the Liberals under Mark Carney had to respond to and make one of their first moves, to push tax cuts. Again, something the Liberals responded to and was one of Mark Carney's first moves. What Pierre Poilievre was able to do in the House of Commons was really determine what it was that Canadians were focused on from a political perspective, and that shifted with Donald Trump's tariff threats, taking over the discussion over the last several months. But a return to the House of Commons offers him an opportunity to do that again, something we didn't see in the brief spring-summer session because Pierre Poilievre had lost his seat. And so not only is Mark Carney going to be up against quite an adept tactician in the House of Commons, quite a proficient speaker, he's also going to be up against someone who has shown that they have very strong control over the mechanisms that exist at a procedural level in the House of Commons. Think back to why Parliament shut down last winter. It was because Conservatives were clogging up not only the floor, but also the committee process as well. Pierre Poilievre has shown that he is very willing to use those committees to push his political agendas, and that's another area where Mark Carney, as a relative political newcomer, is going to have to learn to maneuver and to be an equal opponent to the Conservatives and to Pierre Poilievre. So he'll have his hands full, not just with the topics of conversation, but with all of the minutiae, and there's going to be a lot that's presented in this Parliament that will give the Conservatives opportunity to attack the Prime Minister, whether that's a tough-on-crime bill that the Conservatives are pitching, but the Liberals also say they'll have their own version of, whether it's the first budget that Carney presents in October. Jobs and the economy are going to be a key topic for the Conservatives, whether it's things like the Conservatives' catch-all bill that targets the emissions cap, that targets industrial carbon pricing. There will be a number of these issues that pop up that Mark Carney is going to have to deal with in a much more aggressive manner than he has faced so far this summer with the House not sitting.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
Well, look, I think President Trump probably thinks that we in Canada will cave in, but we are going to stand up to a bully. We're not going to back down. We're united, and we will retaliate.
We have to recognize that the Donald Trump of today is different than the Donald Trump of several years ago. Let me finish by pointing out one other thing. Who's the worst person to stand up to Donald Trump? It's Pierre Poilievre. He worships the man.
I'm on the edge of my seat, actually. But thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker. Happy birthday! A few days short. A little bit. A few days short, but didn't have a chance to see you on the day.
All right, gang, we're going to wrap it up right there. Aaron Canadian Looney, smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. We're excited to have the House of Commons coming back September 15th. It starts. It's going to be a gong show for certain. We'll see how Mark Carney can handle Pierre Poilievre when the House reopens September 15th. Like, share, subscribe, get notified. Come and join us. We cover all the question periods live. It's a blast. Great community. That's it. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.
As a European, I am a European,
European.
actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
I'm Irish citizen. Yeah. So there you
welcome.
go.
Welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF.
Here, here.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
And as the most European of the non-European countries,
being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought
what possible
to avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Come on for now. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you all very much for watching. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. Canadian Federal Politics. Get yours right here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.
You know, I was asked on a show about a year ago of all of the human phenomena that I've studied in my life or I'm aware of, which is the one that has surprised me the most about human nature. And I paused for a second and I answered the inability of people to change their minds despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Justin Trudeau comes in, he does a disastrous job. What do Canadians do? Re-elect him. That's not enough. Let's do it a third time. Then he steps down. Maybe it's time now to do some autocorrection. What do Canadians do? They re-elect the party that put them in the position that we're in right now.